Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Storyboards with Sky Darkholme Shades of Night, Part 2, brought to you by Poetic Slice of Life. It's a group on allpoetry.com, and I would like to give a thank you to Stephen and Kay for their efforts in coordinating and running the group. And tonight's a Part 2, as I said, with Shades of Night. And we're going to be contributing 4 comic book characters, Nightshade, DC, and Marvel version, Nightcrawler, and Nighthawk. So we have some character rights and some character quotes that were inspired, rights that were inspired by the quotes. And so it should be a fun night. How you doing, Kay?
I am doing all right. How are you?
Good. Hanging out.
What?
Ready for the snow that's about to hit pretty hard.
What's been hitting already since yesterday with what we got? It's just right now the winds that we have, they're pretty terrible.
Oh, you're more west than I'm about to get hit with whatever you had. I'm more east, so we're getting it tonight. We're getting something tonight.
Be prepared.
We're always prepared here. We get a lot of snow. So I'd like to say hello to Joseph on the moon. Joseph on the moon. He's on the moon now. Joseph Moon on the board. And I bet he thinks it's pretty funny. And hello to Heavenly Angel on the board as well. And Joseph Moon said he might be calling in, so We're gonna save him
that's
for a little
good.
bit and
Sounds
see if he'll call in. So, and go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say before we move forward, we do have a caller.
Oh, good. I like callers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always nice. I brought in Raz. Hello, Raz.
How you doing? It's me, Raz. I decided to stop by because I hear you're doing another one of those poetry blog sessions. I mean, they're not taking off anywhere that I've seen nationally, but I hope that others are inspired, at least by the very spirit of poetry, not to participate for a guest speaker, even sit around, read the poems, comment back, you know?
Yeah.
How you doing, Raz?
Doing great. What about you, Sky? I didn't know you were a genius. You've won like over 600 something medals on this site.
No,
This is new. I looked at your profile sheet.
It's only new because I only have like 40 rights up there because I deleted some people.
I mean, my impression of you, if I knew that fact by now, then maybe I would have thought differently on previous blog shows, you know. But it must be official that you're a genius. If you have 600 rights, they all won prizes in contests. It's like mastering the actual skill of poetry, you know.
It's all relative. It's all up to the judge. So I mean, and
you're very humble about that. I can see.
But
like no,
you know, I have been writing
just
for
like
quite a while, so I definitely do enjoy it.
On your spare time, right? If Einstein was that humble, there would never have been the Manhattan Project.
Well, so I see that you loved to the contest prompt on we got a Nightcrawlers.
A piece on Nightcrawler because you said that no one wanted to share on your previous episode of Shades of Night. So I thought, why not do one on Nightcrawler?
I brought him back in and he got a lot of rights.
Tonight we got many on that. Before we move forward, I brought in a few more callers too. We got Sweet Pea and JCA.
Hello, my
folks.
Hello.
Dungeon
Mistress and Jay.
Hello.
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 How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing pretty good. This is the first time I'm trying to call with headphones on, so we'll see how that works.
Well, sounds good. Sounds great.
Getting fancy, Jay. Headphones.
I know. A Walmart cheap special.
Oh my goodness.
I got fancy the other day too. I got a tablet, my first one.
Woohoo!
Hey, they're nice. It's nice to have more than one device.
They're nice.
I love my headphones. Oh, when you're running shows, definitely.
Very brave of you, Sky, wanting to be humble. I mean, who's also humble would be someone like maybe Anderson Cooper on CNN because, you know, he's been on for like 10 or 12 years nonstop, but he never mentions the fact of being a genius.
I don't think getting trophies makes you a genius, but thank you. I'll tell you what, Raz, I put you in. So you're the first to read because you were the first caller, and since we got some other people here, we can jump right into it. I would like just to say the opening, I will probably only do this once for each one. And Raz wrote to a Nightcrawler, and we did do an intro with him last time, but I'm going to do it again because I like him so much. His first appearance was in X-Men Comics. His alter ego is Kurt Wagner, species human mutant. He was affiliated with X-Men and Excalibur. And he was abandoned. This is just a brief synopsis of it, but he was abandoned at birth and raised in a highly religious Circus Romani. He possesses superhuman agility, the ability to teleport, adhesive hands and feet. His physical mutations include indigo-colored velvety fur, which allows him to become nearly invisible in shadows, two-toed feet and three-fingered hands, yellow eyes, pointed ears, and prehensile tail. And the quote that you used was, which I really liked, which was, "Odd how even in the face of tragedy there are often such wonders to be found." And I think you might have just on the character, not that quote, but either way, really well. All yours, Raz.
All right, this is
Take
the
us
poem.
away.
Wagner Muted Overture. Time disassociated of the early proton testing, promised land of milk and honey, malnourishment. Black September cannot avoid the protections of the Olympian Games and avoid the night crawling and the loss of soul terrorism. Who would have seen Kurt Wagner any more than teleprompter's focus? Repeating the clandestine roges, Richard Nixon faced Toad, national integrity, and the affliction of the marrow cheekbones, strychnine. Romania foster a poor and beaten generation, Slavonic Holocaust, part of the basic needs for a devalued currency to feed the hunger, which breeds discontent and the dissent, altering. A revolutionist gathering public squares to nobody, squandering. Who would have seen one in the odd box concealing the specific human to those portable numbers staring for function, the heavy husky coats which camp upon the statehood vista. Nuclear winter, earlier cycle of wavelength gradation, generating the fibrillation the pockets of snow mountains inspire the barrel can fires to tinker harsh, and scathing freeze burns the wind's sucker. Tomorrow, the surviving soldier of the people struggle through independence for a certified guarantee that reliable. Semitism is not an act of hatred which requires spitting on the face of the believer nor bombing a synagogue, administering holy prayer to shaking the fundamental value of personal space that human laws had signed during the Geneva Convention Treaty. Subtle approaches that distance the central development of trusting the government or brotherhood are in every spiteful profanity that exceeds human words in subverted receptacle. The vigilante gangs curse the township. Tension with methodical psychological abuse replace punitive damage. The silence said everything. The silence said no help was ever coming. The silence denied the incidental details of scar tissues. Wagner, mutated senses reflected thoughtfully on the hollow sworn silence. The end.
Thank you, Raz. That was such a depth, right? I'm going to save my comments I did for last time to the end. So I'm going to get started with Sweet. What do you think?
Definitely an in-depth poem. It's got a lot of history in it. It's got a lot of discontent and dissent. It's more the sound of a revolutionary cry. I do like the ending. The silence said everything. The silence said no help was ever coming. The silence denied the incidental details of scar tissue. I believe that silence is the scariest thing you ever hear. One of the things I do a lot of is consulting, and we often say that when your former stars of a company become silent, that's when you know you have discontent. So I think silence, the more bitching you can hear, the happier you should be, because that's when people care. As soon as they turn silent, that's when you need to worry. So I really do like those lines a lot. They resonate with me.
Thank you, Sweet. Great comment.
Thank you very much.
Jay?
Well, bottom line is, the amount of history that is intertwined and woven within this is just breathtaking. It's about, I see everywhere that people have stood up, but where has it gotten everything? And this is just so much all over us. It really is intense to see something like this, to feel something like this, you make people really think hard. You make them go in, take a look at what's happening. You make them want to look up Black September. You make them want to look up the time that the Olympic Games were hit by terrorism. You want them to look up the Slavonic Holocaust, the different things like that. You're actually making people think and bringing them to a level where they don't have that choice. If they want to know about it, they got to go into it. So I think that this is amazing how it's told, and to understand the character of Curtis Wagner really helps point that whole thing out for how religious he did become. And I think that this is a fantastic write in that situation. Excellent job.
Thank you very much, Joseph. You get the general gist. I was referring to history in the sense not only for Kurt Wagner, because his character meditates upon stuff that had gone on in the past that motivates him to be the kind of justice seeker he is in those graphic novels. But yeah, I was trying to raise an awareness that hatred has gone on for too long in too many nations for us to not acknowledge the fact, at least. You got the point of the poem pretty much. Thanks.
Yep.
And Kay?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have to agree with what Jay and Sweet Pea both said, because the final stanza, it does say it all with the silence, because silence in itself, it can be scary because it means you're turning a blind eye and you're not paying attention to what you should. And then that just creates devastation because the chosen act is silence, and sometimes silence is the worst thing you can do. This is an awesome write, Raz. Thanks for bringing it to me.
Thank you, Kay. You know, I agreed, and I'm going to kind of stick to my comments a little bit because I did put a lot of thought into my comments. But I really liked how you reflected on and complemented it with religious characteristics, but in a more perspective and reflection of society in itself. And I think that many people have touched upon that. It was definitely a heavy piece, and it addressed so many different things. And it was one you could kind of take apart piece by piece and kind of think about it and reflect on it each moment through history for a longer period of time, and to intertwine them and weave them like you did. I thought was just a wonderful kind of advocacy, and I'm always a supporter in voicing things and bringing things to the forefront of people's minds and hearts, and I liked how you did that through this piece, but also through putting in his personality and how he cares about society and how he cares about those things and how he's very reflective and to the past and connected to humanity. So I really enjoyed this piece, and it was wonderfully done, Raz.
Yeah, I didn't distort anything out of Kurt Wagner. Technically speaking about his profile, he does ponder our history, and that's part of what keeps him motivated about wanting to stop terrorism, period, And from there, that analogy of a graphic novel, you have the real world, that we don't want that too. Any more than anti-Semitism for another generation when it's failed for 100 years now.
I agree, and doing it through different venues is a great way, and poetry is one of those venues where you could definitely speak it through. And I think we have a visitor who might stay and squat a while. I hear Stephen is home.
Yes, I am.
Might not. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
How you doing, Steve?
Good. What's going on, man?
Before I go any further, I just want to ask: does anybody need to read and run?
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Well, I don't have the entire time, but I'll probably have to cut out maybe about in an hour or so.
Okay. Then I'm going to have you guys help me a little bit with some of these. So I'm going to do the gold winner for the contest, and then we'll go to Sweet. And that is the lineup as of right now. I don't want to go too far. So this one, and then Sweet has dropped me something. I haven't read it yet, so I'm pretty excited. And I was wondering if Jay, could you read this one?
What? No, of course I could. Hold on.
Yes, you could. I think you're going to voice this one well. I have a feeling.
So, huh?
Talking about shadows and fools.
All right, let me get to it. Hold on one second. Here we go. All right, this one is called Kurt Wagner. Let's get our geek on. All right. Demon born, stock from birth, which rays granted hearth. Oh, the maiden fair you loved, gypsy brother was cursed. As madness grew, you knew, you raised kin, you will slay, howl at the moon, Kurt. You have betrayed the mother who raised you. Flee the home you have known, retreat to the circus where men could accept you as a freak. In the night you will weep, the cajole, you scorn your appearance. At night as coward do they approach the pitchfork, torch, the chant. Possessed by the devil they claim, a stake driven through your heart, and no longer will they fear the dark. Arouse from your sleep, outnumbered you they bound. Your hoof hands and feet, lest they slay on the cross a worthy death of a child of Christ. With the stake about to strike, the villagers are frozen in sight. A man in a wheelchair appears with a cyclops in tow. Speaking in your mind, he renews your purpose in humankind. Homo superior, he intones, a mutant child of the atom, no longer confined to Austrian hills. You shall be an X-Men. A world you shall thrill. End poem.
Thank you. Great read. Great read. And what did you think?
Well, bottom line is it tells his story quite well, because he was, as a child, pretty much ostracized, pushed away. He learned all of his acrobatics pretty much in the circus as a freak. Turned around and kind of ran away from everything, ended up in an abandoned church, from what I remember, and the villagers called him a demon. They called him a devil, and they went after him with the pitchforks and stuff. So there's a pretty accuracy. I love the accuracy in the graphic novel parallel that he brings to this. And I think that this is a very, very well put piece. And it's kind of neat that he included Dr. X in it and everything like that. So, Charles, excellent job.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the read. It was great. And Raz, what did you think?
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. The Dylan song by Guns N' Roses is the soundtrack to this piece. And I find that a way of kind of bending your mind within the graphic novel. If you're commemorating a real hero anymore in Bob Dylan songs, then what more was there to Wagner, even despite his trials, to overcome them and at least try to find some kind of way of retribution for the sins of those who would only wish us harm. And that's what I'm reading here out of Guilty, as to trying to connect all the pieces of his puzzle.
Thank you, Raz. It's a great comment. And Sweet?
I think it's a great write. I think there's a lot of detail in it. I think it tells the story. And kind of what JCA was saying, it's got the imagery and it's all got the detail, and I love like you can actually see him in the church with the pitchfork, the torch, the chants. You're possessed by the devil. They claim a stake driven through your heart. And just all that horror and that frightening, and then to have him come through and know that he's not that, he's just a mutant child, and there is another world for him, and he can actually be a hero. And that aha moment, I think that's just beautiful, and I love that ending.
Thank you, sweet. And Jay? Oh, Jay, I already asked you, Jay. I'm just going in order. How about Kay?
I know you're. That's no problem.
I know,
but
it's because I'm going in order. Kay.
Kay's deferring to me right now, and before I comment, I'd like to say that Deb is here. Hello, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
hello, Deb.
And Boo is here too.
Hey, Boo Boo.
Hello.
It's getting a little tight in here. I like that.
Hello.
Snuggle up close.
Here for baby cakes.
Did you see on the board I called you Mama Cakes the other day? Like, hey, Mama Cakes.
So cute. No, I didn't.
I'm coughing.
You're adorable.
I'm getting too excited. I'm coughing out. All right, so we're getting through Guilty's piece. Stephen, would you like to make the last comment?
Sure. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about Nightcrawler, but I did a little bit of research, and I think that this really sums up his story very well in a poetic way. I thought this was pretty cool.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I love this one. I love how he went through his origin story because, any good comic book character has an origin story, and when you go through it, sometimes their origin stories they're not at their highest peak. They're actually you get to see a little bit more of their vulnerability because you can see a little bit more of their history and their background and really where they came from. I mean, and you look at people, and people don't always start out at a 10. They don't always start out as as powerful as they eventually might become. They usually have a background, a good character, I believe, has a background of a little bit more struggle in a journey, and that is when I fall in love with comic book characters, that's what I fall in love with. Their background and say, okay, what led them here, and that's why I really enjoyed this write, and I thought it was great storytelling. I really liked the rhyme in it. I thought it carried it along really, really well. It was easily portrayed, like you could follow the story around without getting stumbled or anything like that. So the pace and the focus, it was excellently done. And as someone had said that the details and the background with the circus and the villagers taking them out, I think it really speaks a lot about society as well, and judgments and what fear and hate can lead to, and how those affected can ultimately rise above and become something more. So I really like this one. Really, really well done.
But even judged that way, he only tried what was best for the rest of society. I mean, that's why he's a hero.
And definitely. I'm a little behind here. So we're going to go to Jay next. And I got really into my comments, and I forgot to get the link. So I'm just going to run over. And
It figures that there's another quote by him that it's only through fiction that we even have heroes.
I'm gonna lie to you. It wasn't Jay. It was Sweet. It was Sweet who was next. So I'm lying to you guys. So Sweet, I'm gonna put you on the board, and whenever you're ready, you can share with us. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Before I read with you, Deb, do you need to read and run?
I do, but I could wait for one more, but that's about all the time I have.
Okay. All right. I'll put Sweet, and then I'll put you right in next. No, that's right.
Thanks.
Mine is not written in particular to a character's origin because after the lecture I received about not being smart enough to know to write about any of this by a certain child that I have, because I don't know. Yeah. Oh, my God. No, you don't have enough information to write about their backstories or their origins or where they come from or what they're in. Think about something about their mind or their persona, Mom. You're not that smart yet in comic book area. So be a poet and just think about it.
Wow, that's rough.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I used an old poem of mine about the mindset of how I feel when I've read and seen Miss Nightshade herself. So this is what I came up with because I wasn't particularly allowed to write because I don't know the origins of the characters that well. So thank you, Sky. And trust me, it was a lecture.
Well, you can. Well, I did leave quotes, and I said you could go anywhere you want. So you could, if you really wanted to get back at, your child, you could say, well, I could have wrote a quote.
Quotes from characters.
Yeah, you could go wherever you want. So.
No, not in his world. I got my lecture. I did my thing. Yes.
All right.
So this is a personification of Nightshades, which he said was okay. He liked it. All right. So this is Shadows and Fools. Faded rainbows are the melted faces of sorrowful clowns, pretending that dead ponies are prancing unicorns on the other side of thunderstorms. Ebony crow quills break and fall as they are guilty and now fry on the electric wires for telling the secrets their beady, bulging eyes could have witnessed. Face in the mirror stares blankly into a pair of glossy brown eyes rolling in silent movie clips, and the smell of burnt hair and popcorn fill air bubbles. The eyes roll. I stand staring into the monochrome Hollywood scene of my own orbs, slashing skin as warm blood drips down around me. End poem.
Well, I see why she likes it. I'm going to save my comment, and I'm going to go to Deb. Deb, what did you think?
Well, I think everything that Sweet writes is awesome, and I like the second section. Ebony crow quills break and fall as they are guilty and now fry on electric wires for telling the secrets their beady, bulging eyes could have witnessed. It's like I could almost smell their bodies burning on the electrical wires, and towards the end, the eyes roll. I stand staring into the monochrome Hollywood scene of my own orbs. Is this like you? Oh, okay, you weren't allowed. I get it. I remember this from before. I can't believe that the noise I thought was Amadeus in the background. Okay, I'm trying to see what I wrote last time, but last time we had a doggy bomber. But yeah, no, you have great details and stuff in here, but you always do. And I like the ending, slashing skin as warm blood drops down around me. You can almost see the pool. So great detail, Sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. And Boo?
Boo actually dropped.
She dropped right after she came in.
And Raz, what did you think?
This poem stands unique in itself to be a true piece of modern day literature. Sweet Pea has touched upon the kind of vivid imagery you would expect to finally read in the present tense, in which you have not only the melted faces anymore of the sorrowful clowns. That in itself, if you try to imagine what that must mean, and the circus is already closed from town, while the thunderstorm has not stopped raining in who knows years. Amidst all this, the crows, which could signify a murder of crows, they don't speak of the death. And then furthermore, with the clips that are left in Hollywood and all this chaos, a person is possibly on the verge of committing suicide, and yet that is real drama, not even knowing whom. So I would give this, in terms of modernism, a perfect score. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you,
very
Raz.
much.
Excellent comment. Yeah. And Jay.
The thing I really like about this is the fact is it touches on the human mind itself, because we are all in a million different facets, and we can't fully put a finger down on what our mind is or what our mind does. So I'm liking the different directions in which she takes it. Faded rainbows or melted faces. So there you got one direction. Sorrowful clowns pretending. Dead ponies, prancing unicorns. Yes, you drag us all over the spectrum of someone's mind that is completely gutted and pulled in so many different directions that it's really hard to say whether everything is firing at all, or if everything is firing at one time, where it's an overload. And I absolutely love that concept right there. Sometimes people think too much and so much that it overwhelms them to the point where they almost can't think for themselves. So I love the way that you pulled this in different directions and really gave us a level of darkness from the different parameters of the mind itself.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Yeah. And Kay?
Okay, Kay's deferring to me again.
It's all right.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. The first stanza really, really caught my eye. It made me think, I don't know, it made me think of when we build somebody up to be more than they probably are, and then we're kind of disappointed when they turn out to be less than they probably should be. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But no, I agree with Raz, too. The imagery in this is just phenomenal, Sweet Pea. And, of course, what would a Sweet Pea poem be without some blood drips? So this is, it's perfect.
Thank you, Stephen. I like that when people bring me, I like when they write me new writes, and I like when they bring me pre-writes, because I understand sometimes it's a little bit difficult to keep with everything. And I love when people bring me pre-writes that can fit the text so well and the prompt so well. There was lots of darkness in this. I really, really also loved that ebony crow's quills break and fall as they are guilty, and now fry on electric wires for telling. You could smell that electricity running through that, and that meat and feather burning and searing. And when I read something, if someone can not only bring in images, but bring in especially smells, bring in smells and taste and sounds, it's like poetry and surround sound, really, is what it is. And when somebody can do that, I know that it's a brilliant piece, because it's something you can fully engage in and fully enjoy. I absolutely loved also the last line. That darkness made me, I know it sounds kind of weird, but it made me smile when you're like the slashing skin and the warm blood drips down around me. I was just smiling with dark happiness, and maybe that says something about me, but it is what it is. But I thought this was such a great piece, and very well picked for the character. And I really loved the faded rainbows are the melted faces of sorrowful clowns pretending that dead ponies are prancing unicorns. That's really bringing in some light, fantastical writing into very deep, dark thought when you think about it. Rainbows, melting faces of sorrowful clowns. I mean, I think that would have to be, I'm going to rescind what I said earlier. That is my favorite line. It's absolutely brilliant. Really well done, Sweet. I appreciate you bringing this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sweet. And Deb, you are up as soon as you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Looking now. Always slow when I'm trying to hurry up. Of course, come on.
The sky only appears to be dark at night.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. It is, come on. A mistress of shadows and a daughter of a princess. And it's still trying to load. Okay. It's Pantoum number 27. Here we go. Eve Eden's little brother and princess mother die, and Eve absorbs a succubus into her body as her skin whitens and hair shifts into living shadows. In a darkness prison, winged shadow scouts fly, and Eve absorbs a succubus into her body as she teleports outside the land of nightshades. In a darkness prison, winged shadow scouts fly, caressing the darkness that their mistress made. She teleports outside the land of nightshade, magnifying shadows into solids that she weaves, caressing the darkness that their mistress made. Fighting at Batman's side, though inside she grieves, magnifying shadows into solids that she weaves. Her skin whitens and hair shifts into living shadows. Fighting at Batman's side, though inside she grieves. Eve Eden's little brother and princess mother die. And Paul.
Do you know the comics, Deb, or did you do some research here? Because this is very
Both.
good. Both?
I think I think we have this one.
I'm going to save my comments for last. Excellent piece. Raz, what did you think?
Well, I'm not familiar with Eve Eden, but here that there's the loss of both the mother and the brother. I would assume whoever had been responsible is definitely on her death wish list. And that kind of sort of violent detachment of those you love the most is something that goes non-forgiven, even if the person responsible, however ridiculous it sounds, might have been Bruce Wayne, if I'm receiving points of the narrative right and the context clues here. So if
no, she is
Bruce Wayne. If I had read the comic book, I mean, I would be more familiar to comment. I don't think I'm very much used with this Eve Eden poem. The only thing I have to say is her name is a twist of Genesis, and that's some scary stuff when you think about any kind of woman who happens to be Eve and Eden, but somehow might at the same time wish only the greatest misfortune upon man. So I see how she's imprisoned by this darkness of her own creation, but they're very obscure and ambiguous words.
Thank you,
yeah,
Raz.
I think that the fact that she went through so much and they kidnapped her brother and they killed her mother, stabbed her to death, and then he winds up dead too, that it's pretty phenomenal that she winds up to be a chick that helps Batman in the fight against darkness or evil, actually, because she embraces darkness, but she does fight against evil, and she's a crime fighter, not a criminal.
No, I didn't say neither. I would not be very familiar with Eve Eden, but that it's a kind of process, losing loved ones because of criminal violence that people do not really get over in a lifetime is the only realistic thing I see of these verses and this current world, where we draw our analogy from fiction to its parallels here in reality.
Thank you, Raz.
That's just not forgivable.
I agree. I'm gonna elaborate that more a little bit on my comment. But Sweet.
Sweetie Pea.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Sorry, guys. I thought it was brilliant imagery, and I love how you used the repeat fighting at Batman's side, though inside she grieves. As usual, you know more about this than I do, hence the lecture. I like how you put her skin whitens and her hair shifts into living shadows, because that's got to be pretty cool. And I like how you were able to talk about her like she's the real hero in all of this, that no matter how much sadness there is, that you have the ability to still be a good person and not let the darkness so absorb you that you have to live in such misery and hate that you can't find love. Well, not necessarily love, but a way to be good to society, because a lot of people would just be miserable to everyone. I know I'd probably be one of those people.
Thanks, sweet.
Thank you, sweet. And
Appreciate
Boo. Is Boo back?
No, yeah, but Bella's here.
Hi, Bella.
Hey, Bella.
Hello. Hi.
Woo, woo.
All right.
How you doing, Mabel?
I'm
going to go to
okay,
Steven,
Ed.
who's waving his hands around.
I don't have anything for you, Sky. But
You
I
have
love
a
you.
smile. That's enough. You know?
Yeah.
And that
Hi,
French,
sweet.
French accent, I mean, that just makes the blog a whole lot more, distinctive.
All right,
Hi.
Steven, I see you. I
Sky.
see you, and I'm calling on you.
Okay.
Sky, can I have
Thank you.
2 minutes? Asian Moon, I love you. Mwah. Sorry.
It's okay.
All right. Well, I also don't know much about Nightshade either, but Deb, because you wrote this in a Pantone form, I thought that it made it more profound. I thought you actually made me feel compassion for this character because of repeating the lines, and you repeated the first line again at the end, of course, because of the form. It actually makes her loss more profound. I thought this was really cool.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you, Stephen. So, Deb, the reason why I asked you if you knew or if you had to, because this was just so perfect, and and I think a lot of people danced around it. That when a tragedy befalls somebody, it can go either two ways. It could either go very dark, and they could follow the path in which they were put on, or they could take the light, the harder path sometimes, and find that strength in tragedy. And I really like that about this character, and I know that you went with the DC version versus, because I had two versions up there, the Marvel version and the DC version. And I didn't read it before because I wanted to get you up there right away in case you had to leave. But honestly, your right is way better than my descriptions, because it has everything in there, and it is so wonderfully poetic. And if I had to do this again, and I had to put a little piece and description of this character in, like I have, I would put this piece, because I mean it captures her, but also not only does it tell the story, which you could see, it talks about the land of Nightshade, and it goes into kind of going into that land and weaving out and teleporting, so that people who don't really know the character get the idea that this is somebody who can teleport in and out of the lands of Nightshades, and uses that as her strength and as her ultimately her ability. And I like how you described that, because you can't get that from a description. You can't get that type of detail and creativeness from the description. And what I mean by that is her white skin. Her skin whitens and hair shifts into living shadows. I can just picture her hair like kind of, and not exactly what that picture is doing, but in words, kind of hovering in like a mist or a fog in the shadow. And I absolutely loved your descriptions. I loved the story that you built behind it, and the darkness prison, winged shadow scouts fly. Your phrasing is absolutely stunning. So thank you, Deb, for bringing this.
Awesome comments, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I thank you for showing up. And I am going to go through her thing now. And so if you have to go, but if you want to listen to, I am going to go through her description like I normally do.
Jay would like to comment.
Jay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to mention one thing, and this is both. If you take a look at Detective Comics and Marvel Comics over the years, and I have heard this with multiple characters, they try to grasp a sector of the human characteristics and turn around and take that characteristic and kind of personify it with whatever character that they put into their storyline. These are specially portrayed well in Marvel Comics. I take a look at the Hulk and the rage that gets built up. We often have that type of rage inside of us. Spider-Man, the normal person who all of a sudden has power and doesn't know what to do with it. Go over to Detective Comics and you talk about someone like the Joker, who really is ambiguous but also has that kind of psychotic side to him where there's not much to it. You have someone like Harvey Dent, who has that conflict within himself. Batman himself is a vengeance, and in this character, I can see where there is an overcoming of tragedy and almost selling themselves into a darkness. And when you've gone so far into the darkness, the only thing that you can look for when you're in that darkness is light. And I think that these characters have such a vast description to them, and we've grown to know them so well over the years that we try to relate them in ways to our own lives. And that was the intended purpose of these characters in the first place.
Thanks, Shay. Appreciate that comment.
Awesome comment, Jay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'm out of here.
Thank you, Deb.
Love
Thank you
and
for
respect.
coming.
Love you, Deb.
So before I'm going to actually go back to Nightshade's description, because I'm going to drop Jay in the room, and he wrote to Nighthawk, and so I'm just going to do his little bit of notes here that I have, and then I will go back to Nightshade when we get another write from her. But Nighthawk is his first appearance. Nighthawk's the Avengers, and his alter ego was Kyle Richmond and Queen Pennyworth. He actually has many different. I think he has like 6 alter egos. So this one I just focused on one. And so Nighthawk was introduced in the Avengers villain alongside the rest of the Squadron Sinister. He was a short stint battling the heroes. Another version of Nighthawk was introduced a few issues later, hailing from the alternate reality, where he was, in that world, one of the greatest heroes. So he actually has a darker version and a much lighter version if you look through the comic books. So he first is introduced as a very dark character, part of the Squadron Sinister, but then he later comes on, because of an alternate reality, as one of the greatest hero members in Squadron Supreme. So he kind of has alternate egos, and you can see it throughout his writing. I mean, his comics and his character development. That he kind of has
It depends which one you read. So you can either like the dark version or the light version. So the two quotes that I had here was, I have traveled to the other side of the world and nothing has changed. Scum and prey on the weak cowards still hide behind guns, trying to assert imaginary manhood by acts without honor. And then the one that Jay had written to was, then it's too bad there are no heroes left, which I thought was a good writing prompt. So I'm going to drop Jay in here so he can read. Yes, I'm dropping you gently.
All right. I like you said, I went with that quote, and I started writing something a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't, I didn't know what the direction to take it, and suddenly that quote spoke to me, and I'm like, this is the direction I want to take it. So I want to precurse this, that this is about, I'm going to read a little something from my AN first. We are losing 23 veterans a day in the United States to suicide. So this is called, hold on. This is called Chrome Moly on My Lips. And it goes like this. Wasn't the first time I tasted chrome moly on my lips. Hell, for the last 3 days, I've let myself appetize on death with a hint of black powder. I am foul, wretched, everything they trained me to be. They call me hero. They look up to me. But I see nothing but abomination as I look down at me. I've learned to be alone, but if you heard my screams, your eardrums would bleed. I thought someone would save me, but came to the chilling realization there are no more heroes. The taste of chrome moly mixes with my saline tears. And end poem.
Very powerful piece, Jay. And I'm going to save me for last.
Kaboom.
And Raz, would you like to start?
Yeah. This one here reminds me of recently there's been a statistic poll about New York City in which more cops commit suicide than anywhere else in this nation. And what you have here is someone who's finally faced those demons of society, and yet what prevailed was that they did not do their best, and to the point that they were taking their own life. It's a very politically relevant message for the time, and whatever kind of sickness is affecting these officers of peace, one would hope that it's not anything worse than depression instead of some kind of failure with the system, that even doing your best, suicide, the last of all options, occurs to those brave detectives before punishing themselves that way. So I would find this somehow ironically relevant, even in the thought that heroes have become a kind of passé thought, not so much what there is to our true human nature. A good poem. JCA.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Raz. And Bella?
My brother always writes one right, which I loved about him. And sorry, my voice. I'm just waking up. I'm sorry, Sky. And I love the second part, which is the strength of the second stanza, which is, I find, it's the strength of the poem. And the poem is intense, but that one really pulled me in closer to the subject matter. And the ending, I love beautiful ending. I say beautiful all the time. The taste of chrome moly mixes with my saline tears. And what, brother? You left me hanging. But I love this one. Perfect for you. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. And Boo? Is Boo back?
No, she said she has an emergency and she apologizes.
Okay.
Are you okay, brother?
Where am I back to? Kay.
Yeah, I did hear this one. This definitely circles on a lot of different things because I've made it known that my father had his own issues when he came back from war. And a lot of his issues, they are saying that a lot of other people reserve that they do carry, and they carry it silently. Sometimes they don't get help for it. And that's the sad part, is that they give their all when they serve, but then when they come back home, they come back different. And a lot of the times, the way people look at them, how they get treated, it doesn't help either. It makes things worse. And then, I know there's a lot of people who do take their own life because they can't handle the ghost. Unless you were there, you don't know. But when you watch a loved one as well struggle, it's very hard as well because sometimes I've learned that sometimes you never know what to say. Sometimes the wrong words, the wrong movements, the wrong action, it can set a person off as well because it seems like they always are on guard. Anything could trigger them. So definitely is a very strong right choice. A lot stays with the right choice.
Thank you, Kay. And Sweet?
Wow. Jay knows that these kind of send me off into my own little world. There is so much that's said here and so many things that still go unsaid every day in our country. And one of the saddest things I feel about that is when our vets do commit suicide, they're not considered war veterans. They're not considered. They don't get funerals. They don't get to go into buried in cemeteries that our vets are. They're not considered victims of war, and that's something that needs to be changed immediately as far as I'm concerned. I think they should have full honorary funerals just like our vets that are killed in war. And I have a big foot in the door with some of this stuff too. I just get very upset about it. The things that they face and the things that they see cannot be even imagined by anybody that's never been there. And no one will ever fully talk about it or open it up to people that haven't gone through it. And there's not enough funds, quote unquote, to help those that come back. And we treat our vets with the worst possible care. And yet they don't go, people think that they go to war or they go to work for a day. If you are a veteran or if you have ever been a police officer, a fireman, or a first responder, you don't do that for a day or a time of period or a certain time of your life. You do it for the rest of your life. I don't care if you quit one day. I don't care if you walk out, you're discharged, whatever it is, you've done it for the rest of your life. It just goes with you for the rest of your life. And
absolutely,
that's why you should be cared for the rest of your life. So I think this is powerful once again, and I love your ending and your notes that you're losing 23 veterans a day in the United States to suicide. That's just like if they put on the news every single veteran that died that day, it's like we lost that veteran in a war. Every single day. That's more than people are getting shot. That's more than people are getting in drunk driving. That's more than people are ODing on any kind of drug. We're losing our vets to suicide, and no one's saying a damn thing. So, excuse me, I'll fall down off my podium and break my leg. But I love DJ. Love it. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sweet.
Thank you, Sweet. And And I thought this was so powerful, Jay. So many weighted emotions, like I said, and to bring in light of that, there are no more heroes. That type of struggle, I couldn't imagine myself, being trained to kill, to protect what I value. I mean, that is a hard rock to swallow, even going into that to begin with, to being told, your whole life that violence is not the answer, but then having to do that to protect what you love and what you hold dear, and being trained to do that, and then I would imagine that would be a very a struggle that I would struggle with for the rest of my life, having to have seen and having to have been there, and having to place a bit of your humanity back in order to, like I said, protect what the country and the people that you love. So there is so much wrapped in that I personally I don't even know how I would handle that. So there's so much respect and love for all those that do that, and so I appreciate this, Ray, and I appreciate your advocacy all the time. You always bring rights, and you always bring this to the forefront, which is important. So very, very well done, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Stephen, if you want to make a comment, and then if you could read Joseph.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
appreciate it.
1 second, back to the phone. Yeah, I definitely thought that this was very powerful, and I agree with what Sweet Pea said. Something, and what Kay said too, that something really needs to be done to help get these heroes better help, and I'm not sure, and nobody seems to want to listen to that, because you got the homeless ones, and you got ones that have the psychological problems like Kay's dad dealt with for so long, and it's just I don't know what can be done, but apparently the VA hospitals aren't as up to par. At least that's what Kay's dad says.
There's a lot of unkind things to
say about that. Yeah. But yeah, this is very, very powerful, and I'm going to end my comment by once again thanking you for your service, Jay. Well done.
Thank you.
And to read Joseph's. And then 1 second. Okay. This is called Crying in the Crowd by Joseph Moon. The mind that dreams everyone's nightmares doth not fear the darkness but the light, where veiled eyes walk together on the stairs, wherein they feed on some spineless parasite. I loathe their veneer, curse their false care. Remember, if these will my heart, 'tis pure. My soul is not dark yet, but it's dimming there. I never rejoice nor think myself secure. I hear the voice of one crying in the crowd. What must I do if I follow its tempting tone? Words on a tombstone say, no living allowed, wherein I slumber and weep alone. A living face looked in to see and moves towards me. And boom.
Thank you, Stephen. That was a great read. What you think?
Well, I'm looking at the quote he wrote to the Nightshade quote, darkness is a prison of my creation. Yeah, I can see that. This makes me think of laying in bed with your demons and just staring in the darkness. It just it's very deep, and I'm going to have to read it a few more times to give it a good comment, but this is just awesome, as always, Joseph. Once again, using the Old English, too, to make it a little more powerful. It's awesome.
Thank you, Stephen. That was a great comment. And Raz, put your thoughts in?
Here you have the confrontation of the darkness and the new realities of medical science, where there are types of parasites that do feed off the human mind, psyche as well as the brain. And so while you're lying there in the dark, or what was quoted to be a prison of someone else's creation, there's a certain sense of unjustifiable punishment in that kind of sickness that one would usually receive normal amounts of treatment, but they're prevented from the kind of parasites there are these days that can feed off the human brain, and there's just no help. I mean, with CPD, encephalotary disease, you have a case that no one even knows are inside a person's brain until after post-mortem, that there's no signs or detections or ways for certain kinds to even be taken out of a biological system, that the person receives sufficient amount of medical care, attention, from having to feel fed upon by that very type of sub-life form. So what I see is the very horrors that we have incidentally imposed upon ourselves from tampering with nature, and that's exactly what the world's coming to in medical science. There are new kinds of sicknesses and viruses that just, there's no vaccination yet. You even see that on the news with the coronavirus they found in China, which they believe will spread, and not being aware right now how to treat that new strand. So all that is more or less the same darkness or prison that we unintentionally have imposed upon ourselves through tampering with nature, what I saw in the poem.
Thank you, Raz. And Sweet?
Is the voice of the one you heard crying in the crowd? What must I do if following is a tempting tone? Words on a tombstone say, no living allowed, wherein I slumber and weep alone. If that temptation exists, then hopefully the same temptation will exist when the living face came towards you, or come towards and moves to look towards him, or moves towards Joseph, or the character of the poem, Joseph, and he's tempted to follow that. So if darkness can come towards you, and you follow it because you're tempted, and you're weeping, and you're sad, and you're alone, when the living come in to look for you, you can go back out and find happiness and joy.
Thank you, Sweet. And, this Joseph's right. I'm a really big fan of the more, I would say, classical current poetry, classical poetry. I tend to listen and to read a lot on audio and in books. A lot of poetry. I think poetry takes over a lot of my downtime, and so I really appreciate this type of writing. I really appreciate the way that it sounds on your palate, the way that it captures your mind. But not only does it sound great, but it also has this meaning and this depth to it that, and all intents and purposes, it's rather a short write, but it goes with a bang. And my soul is not dark yet, but it's dimming there. I never rejoice nor think myself secure. When Joseph says on the board, it's like a play on Poe and Sylvia Plath. In those two lines, I definitely see Sylvia Plath. I've read a lot of her work. I can definitely see, I guess I would say the influences, or rather the tone there. But then I also definitely see the Poe in the previous two lines with the, I loathe thy veneer. So to take and to say, well, these are writers that I admire, and to give them credit within influencing you, but then to turn around and make something completely original in your own words. It's just incredible. I mean, Joseph, I'm always impressed by your rights, and I always think they're presented so well in language and in message and in tones. So really, really well done. And I appreciate you bringing this one today. And I have KK, if you want to make the last comment, if you want to read, you're all up to read.
Oh, comments from Joseph?
Yeah, and then you're up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I like to give surprises, you know.
I do like this because I did read it when he first wrote this, and I thought I could see the mix of class, like you said, and prose. This is definitely very dark. But as I told him as well, he gave very rich imagery to think on about life and death. Because, the quote that he did choose, it's one that spoke to me as well. Darkness, it is a creation of the mind, and it does imprison. And sometimes you don't need to do it. It just happens because there are things in life that make it hard to break free from. And, he just, this is excellent. It really was. Because he brought the elements of how I saw it as how it can be also inviting and tempting. Because, as I see it, it's a familiar and comfortable aspect to touch on than other emotions. Sometimes other things feel foreign, but the dark feels safe. This definitely has a lot of beauty to it, but it also has a lot of sadness to it. And congratulations on the bronze.
Well
Can
received,
I make a comment? Is it okay, Sky?
Yeah, go ahead, Bella.
I'm so sorry about that. I was looking at this one and keep on reading back and forth, because that's how I do read from the top to the bottom and the bottom to top. And then I stopped on the first stanza, second line, starting there. Not fear the darkness, but the light. The light. People who are masking themselves, where veiled evils walk together on the stairs. That's deciphering about society, wherein they feed on some spineless parasites. Spineless parasites are the ones who are weaker, and loathe their veneer, curse their false care. False care. These are the two-faced people who looked at you in the eye and gave you compassion, but inside they want to devour you. That's the I don't know. I see it in that manner, and he says, "My soul is not dark, but it's dimming there." Because if you once you confront or see those kind of people, regardless of how good you are inside and out, evil will hurt you too. And I never rejoice nor think myself secure. You will never be secured around those people, because you will not know who is really there for you, or the truth one. I don't know, Asian one. I'm just looking at it in that way. But I love your writing. Beautiful. It's a different kind of write from you, but it's well placed. Sorry, and thank you very much, Sky.
All right. So I'm gonna redrop K, and then the next order is gonna be Boo, which Jay is gonna read, and he's gotta go. So after K will be Boo, right by Jay.
Okay. All right. I call this, I picked the same quote that Joseph wrote to you about darkness as a prison of our creation. And I call this woven fracturing. Weaver of shadows through the flames, love and protection of the night was the love shared. Earth exalted through the weight of darkness. A plaintive song only known to me, guardian. I knew you were the one. Foundations of hauntings offer scatterings of acknowledgement. She whispers lovingly, secrets are unhealthy. Sunshine exists through the valley of imprisonment. Virtues renounced to the devil. Disillusionment stripped. Blesses one with clarity, while others live in denial of blindness. Spilt milk of another life not meant to be. I can't. No more death, no more. Leave our shadows through the flames, our foundations of hauntings, offering scatterings of acknowledgement. Virtues renounced to the devil. Speak of. Spilt milk of another life not meant to be. Arrogance is unbecoming if malice only exists in the heart. Rooms of indifference, spaces of detachment, visions of the past. What was, what could have been. This room of darkness means love. Reality is frightening, especially if you see your vision stepping into reality. Become a man-made prison that shackles. End poem.
Thank you, Kay. I mean, I really loved this one. You know, it hit me towards the end. I mean, I loved it throughout, but I thought the end was just so powerful. The thought of when, you know, nightmares start to unhinge and bleed into reality, when the things you fear the most become true. And I think that a lot of our fears are very much rooted in very real things that could happen or that might happen. Or that you fear might happen. And when you start to see those kind of unravel into your life, you know, I can't think of anything more devastating than that. And I just thought this was such a powerful piece. I'm really liking this. You've got this type of, I would say, recent writing with the longer pieces that really delve and reflect on emotion and perhaps past, and you know, and I really think it does your writing justice. I really I think it complements with your voice. I love the sound clouds that you've been doing as well, because it's so nice to sit back and kind of be lazy and enjoy somebody else reading, but in their voice, and which is always good. So I very much do appreciate them, and this is such a great piece. Thank you for bringing it and for writing.
Thank you, Sky.
And Stephen, I'm going to start. Oh, go ahead.
Well, before
so you got
Stephen
Deanne?
Yeah, Deanne's in the room. I just let her in.
Hey, Dee.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing?
Hi, God.
We're good.
How are
Hey, Bella.
you?
Hi, Jay. Hi, everybody.
I miss you, dear.
Nice to hear you all. I know. I miss you guys, too. It's nice to be with you.
This room of darkness needs love.
And Stephen, would you like to make a comment?
Oh yeah, I will say that a lot of the imagery in this it's layering over something very personal, something that's been going on at home for a little while. Some.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
enough.
Yeah. But yeah, she writes so well, and it's so impressive every time. I get more and more impressed, and we have to buy a lot of Band-Aids for my chin because my chin usually hits the floor every time I read something from you. But no, this is awesome, honey.
Thank you. That'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do, donkey.
That'll do, pig. It's big. Deanne, did you happen to hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Kay, yes, this is just stunning. I was going over your very haunting images. I love the second one, Foundations of Hauntings, offering scatterings of acknowledgement. She whispers lovingly, secrets are unhealthy. Sunshine exists through the valley of imprisonment. Yeah, it's, wow. I would have to actually chew on this for a little bit longer just to get into the heart of what you're saying here, because there is so much depth here. And I, too, went with your quote, your chosen quote. And how often we do that, though. You know, darkness is a prison of my creation. So, I mean, how we do that to ourselves. But I love your AN. Did everybody read her AN? Oh, you understand this more than anyone, Stephen. In a world of arrogance and ugliness that is seen through, you are the one that keeps me moving, making it easy to be honest with you and to be your everything as you are to me. Now with that, hear my song I've been singing to you. That is just beautiful. I'm swooning here. You guys are so special. Love
Thank
it very
you,
much.
Tia.
Well done. Yes.
And
well done.
Bella?
I love the okay, it's a beautiful read. And I love the title, Woven Fracturing, the picture, and the last part. This room of darkness needs love. Reality is frightening, especially if you see your vision stepping into reality, becoming the man-made prison that shackles. Oh, well, our body, I believe that our body is the temple, and it's up to you on how you are going to take care of the temple, make it into a prison or make it into your own havoc or make it into your haven or something like that, and it's up to you totally and how you produce that. But for you to be able to do that, negativity, people that surrounds you are the one who adds up to those. And it's sad because instead of them showing, it's not easy to show love at all. Tangible one, no, but they refuse to do so because they're fucking greedy. But I love you, Kay, and I'm here for you no matter what. I'm quiet, but I'm fucking here. I love you.
All right.
No, I can
Jay,
understand.
if you
I can understand her because I've been quiet for so long, and she does the same too. But when we resurface, we burst into something beautiful, and you know that, Kay, right?
Hey. So Jay, if you want to make a comment, and then Boo's right in the room.
Yeah, I would like to say something absolutely amazing, but Dee absolutely stole my thunder. Gee, thanks. Yeah, this was I absolutely love the way this went. That there is, it's all on it. Geez, how many times do we let ourselves just slip into that darkness? Go in there and get pulled in. So this is an absolutely amazing. Okay, great job. All right, this piece is called Iman by Boo, and it goes like this. Mirror, mirror on the wall, inner demons come to call. Rarely catch a break at all. Lights out, the final curtain call. Dim shadows cast apparitions gloom. Haunted visions speak of doom. Shameful story, watch it unfold. Losing time as tales are told. Darkness a prison of my own creation. Welcome a trio to eternal damnation. Procession song crave the sound. Peace beneath hardened ground. Dirt and grime, please cover me. Overstimulated, mind-numbing catastrophe. Eternal sleep, one that lies 2 feet wide, 6 feet deep. End poem.
Thanks, Jay. That was an excellent read. I really, really enjoyed this one. You know, it was haunting. It was dark, and I read the ending. That ending, wow! The grave at the ending was just a powerful way to end, and you know that's where you want to leave your readers. You want them to be kind of left and just kind of like staring at the page and just like, you know, chewing over what you just said. But those lines, those last sounds are so important, and I really thought those were done just fantastic. I loved the dark tones and the sinister feel to it, and with the short lines and with the whole pace of the piece, I kind of felt like I was being chased, and I liked that. I liked that she was able to hold the reader and kind of like a breath and say, okay, I'm gonna chase you the entire way through this rite, and I'm never gonna let you veer off or look away because I'm gonna hold you captive, and I'm gonna hold your mind and your eyes captive as well. And the tone in it, and then the way that it was written and the pace that it was written in. I thought this was such an excellent piece, and I appreciate you, Boo, for writing for the contest and writing for this piece. And the quote was, "Darkness is a prison of my own creation." And I definitely felt those tones in there. Excellent, excellent piece. Raz, what did you think?
This is a meditation on death, and in and of itself speaks not of darkness being the prison or death, but a kind of final, ultimate solution to the very fact that you're been facing nothing else but waiting for that moment to come. There's a desperation and a kind of calmness in the narrator's tone, accepting not only eternal damnation, but then after that there would still be eternal sleep, a very rest within the grave of 6 foot deep. Background noise. I'm done with my comment.
That's because Boo's back.
Thank you, Raz. Boo, are you back?
Just got here.
She dropped me.
No, she dropped something. She was here for a second with the background.
All right. And I can't get one from Jay because he dropped two. Tian, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, I was just going over this. Thank you. She's so amazing the way she puts her poems together in just a very short time. Her muse is always on overdrive. But I actually enjoyed this because it's just so cryptic. And there again, another chosen quote that seems to be the fave tonight. What really stood out to me was, "Dirt and grime, please cover me. Overstimulated, mind-numbing catastrophe." Ooh, I really can feel those words. So, yeah, very powerful, intense, right? Well done, Boo.
Thank you, Tian. Stephen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was great. I like the simplicity, the short, poignant stanzas. Boo's imagery and rhyme is always really good. It just, once again, it speaks to me of the demons that like to come and screw around with us as soon as we lay down in bed, and and it gets dark. They come around and dance around our bed and don't let us sleep. And it would just be nice if they would let us sleep. But no, this is an excellent writing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Stephen. And Kay?
Well, yeah, I'm starting to realize that this is the popular quote of the night because many are choosing this one, and I can understand why. Because, as I said in my comment, that one way or another, we all are guilty of putting ourselves in a prison of darkness at times. But breaking free is the hardest part, but if you can do that, then it will free you of the chains that hold you down. Her right, it definitely speaks to the quote very well, because a lot of the time, being in the darkness can be invited or intoxicated, but then at other times it's like the life that wants to suck every ounce of breath out of you and take you to the ground with it. Great, right?
Thank you, Kay, and great comment. And Dan, I was wondering if you could read my next one with your voice.
I was on mute. Okay.
Oh.
Here I am. I guess all of us go through that, because we can listen and so we feel connected, but then we look and say, oh, I'm on mute. Yes, I would love to read Lady A's poem. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. All right, she calls this The Wonder of Life, and you gave her a silver. So I'm really excited to read this for you. Windows blacked out, no light to see, no sun to warm me. A sliver mist where brightness kissed. My eyes behold great color, green, pink, and purple. Silence is the rule, but shades of blue azure sing loudly in a park where birch show off their bark. Children with kites of dragons riding bikes. Moms and dads prepare a feast and picnic at the beach. Toddlers toddle with balloons. Lovers hold hands and swoon. What wonder to embrace, life's miracles can't be erased. My world returns to black as I turn my back. This tiny place I hide so we might all survive. Strict rules we are to follow, else in tears we'll wallow. Whispers in the day so no one hears us pray. Fear cast out the good, save the window where I stood. 'Tis where I sing a song to remember I belong, amidst flowers in bloom and picnics every noon. Love's gentle caress cannot be suppressed. From darkness I escape to life's beautiful embrace. Odd how even in the face of tragedy, there are often such wonders, such miracles to be found. End poem.
Excellent read, Deanne. And what did you think?
Thanks, Sky. Wow, well, this is the first time I've read it. I didn't read it. It's very, very intense. I love her rhyming scheme. That was really interesting how it just flowed. And I like the way she went back and forth with her imagination. And then my world returns to black as I turn back. Yeah, it's very melancholic and poignant. Powerful, right, Lady A, as always. It was my honor
Thank
to
you,
read
Deanna.
it.
That was a great reading. And I
you.
do, the first thing I noticed when I read it too, Deanne, was the inner rhyme end line lines. And I thought that was, I think that is such a brilliant way. And I've been actually reading a lot of Robert Frost lately, and he does that so often, that short line, that short inner rhyme, and then the end line rhyme. And I think it is such a vintage way to write. It is a fun way to write because you're getting those two rhymes right in that same line. And I actually was a bit inspired by this and wrote something today that was very different. But the line structure had that inner line, end line rhyme. I'm like, I really need to do this a little bit more. It's such a wonderful play on words. So the structure, wonderfully, as always, done. And then the intent of it, the how even in the face of tragedy, there is often such wonders and such miracles to be found. This right was, based on Anne Frank, and to go through, and it's kind of interesting. These quotes really brought a lot of advocacy and a lot of history in with them. So it was interesting to find that these particular quotes, and they were a bit of a darker quotes, and a darker themed show. And it was interesting how a lot of people brought in history-based poems or society-based poems, and advocacy poems. I really thought that was just phenomenal and doing justice to those people. But I thought it was an incredible piece. I wrote in my comment that I loved how it spoke of history and it told of a dark time and a timeless work inspired by, because everybody, when we're young, I remember at least, the first work that I was introduced to, in the Holocaust was Anne Frank. They introduced that very young because it's a venue where young people can grasp it in a way that their minds can hold it in, and so I remember very early on in very young ages in school that this book was read. So it is such an important piece of literature. It is such a pinpoint, I think, in history when you think about that. And I love how she, even though she talked about in the perspective of Anne Frank, that she still captured the hope that was there. So yes, it had very dark tones, but there was also that hope of and that message that things can get better even in the darkest times. So I really appreciate it. It was really well done. Bella, can I have a comment from you?
Yes, I respect Mama a lot. I love her a lot too, and her writing inspires me because I always call her as an old soul, and she sees things differently too, and I do too sometimes, not all the time. And what I like about her writing is her adjectives and how she makes them jump. The rhythm, and she does that because I can't do it. I don't like punctuations. I fail to that, and I look at her as she puts it a lot, and then make sure that you will read it the same manner as how she wants to read it. At the last part, I'm a sucker for ending, and I love the ending. She's a marvelous writer, and I have respect.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Shwan Silva. It's all two in from Sky,
Everybody always says that.
Yes, because it's true. We have to capture not only your bone but your marrow for us to win something, and it's hard because you're not a cousin.
or if you're the only one who wants it.
And there's another one too in the room.
What happened?
Huh?
All right. What happened?
I said if you're the only one that entered the contest too, you can get the gold.
Okay, Stephen, you stop that right now.
I am playing.
All right, Stephen, since you're so sassy here, can you give me a comment and then you're up on the board.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. I didn't read the author's notes, but it makes it more interesting that it's inspired by Anne Frank as well. But I thought that this, what it made me think of was actually, and I'm going to use the word demon again, but making peace with your demons and actually moving on is what I saw in this right. I thought it was very well written, and once again, yeah, the inner rhyme and end line rhyme is that's really cool. I really like that. So yeah, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Stephen. I agree, and thank you, Lady A, for bringing it. And Stephen, you're in the room. And if someone could send Irish Rosie the number, I'm trying to do that.
All right, I wrote to Nightcrawler's quote, "Odd how even in the face of tragedy, there are often such wonders, such miracles to be found." And I call this Miracles Birthed from Pain. The rockiest of roads we have traversed, so many obstacles that threatened to rip us apart, neither of us knowing just who we were, like rams during the rut, giving us both migraines as we tried to work things out. Then, the worst possible nightmare, one that usually dissolved the marriages of so many, some probably stronger than us, but somehow we came through, causing an inseparable connection, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And while we don't always see with level pupils, the love and respect grows stronger, every day, 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 every day.
Here we go.
Who was that?
Wow.
I think it's Irish, but she's getting terrible feedback.
Will you contact activity from out there? Is that someone trying to crash the line of the blog?
She's probably got to call back because I picked up twice and I get terrible feedback.
Yeah.
That's not normal feedback. That comes from an actual satellite. Those kinds of loops, if they're in the transmissions.
Stephen, I'm gonna ask you to read that again. I'm sorry, but this was such a great piece that I don't want it to be cut off in the middle from that. So, if you could do me a favor when you start reading, if you could just start over again. It's such a beautiful piece, and I really hate it to be cut like that.
Okay, no problem. Miracles birthed from pain. The rockiest of roads we have traversed, so many obstacles that threatened to rip us apart, neither of us knowing just who we were, like rams during the rut, giving us both migraines as we tried to work things out. Then, the worst possible nightmare, one that usually dissolved the marriages of so many, some probably stronger than us, but somehow we came through, causing an inseparable connection mentally, physically, and spiritually. And while we don't always see with leveled pupils, the love and respect grows stronger every day. End poem.
Thank you, Stephen. It's just such a beautiful write. I really wanted to get its wealth. I'm actually going to say my comment first this time, and I thought this was such a beautiful, personal, and honest write. I love when writes are so raw and so honest that you could just see the heart open upon the page. It was really. It was like, and I wrote in my comment, and I wrote you a very lengthy comment, so I'm going to say what's in my comment because, I wrote it. But I thought it read like a letter, as if someone were peeking into, like if I were peeking into something that wasn't meant for my eyes, if it was for just two individual people, and that type of intimacy, to be able to share honestly and openly like this, and to mention those darkest moments, that you said that might break other relationships, and even though that there's no details of what that means, you could feel it, you know it, you could see it, and you could feel it. And I think a lot of people have had times in their relationships that dark times have come, and they really can go both ways. And I wrote in the end, sometimes bad things happen, and all we can do is hold tight to the ones that we love, but sometimes it's harder than we think it is, especially if the other person's in pain as well. And also there's that whole, it's easier sometimes to lash out on those you love most and push them away. So I wrote that tragedy can make or break a relationship, and sometimes it could do both. It could break it, and then it could mend it, and it can come back stronger. So I thought this was such a wonderful piece, and I really appreciated you writing it and sharing it with us, Stephen. And I'm going to get... Thank you. And I'm going to get Raz.
Yeah, Stephen here is touching upon miracles of life, period. Birth from pain, that's the second that you're born. And the relationships you start forming along the way, some, they're going to be with you until they die, and even after that. So this touches upon extreme profundity that you can find for yourself, whomever, in others, and how they're always there, whether or not you think so. And I like that theme. It's very adult and extremely to the point of our own connections here on Earth between certain individuals and how we form lasting relationships that just seem to never die even after death. That's what I received from the poem, my take.
Thank you, Raz.
Thank you, Raz.
And is Bella back? Bella's back.
I'm back.
Did you get to hear that? Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm a dork. I'm sorry. Okay. I love the title, brother. I always look at the title because that's the first thing I look at. If it captivates me, I will read. And the storyline here, from the top or from the beginning until end, is captivating. I cannot write anything about I cannot connect with, and sometimes I want to, but it's hard. And with you, I always tell you this, that whatever you lay for Stefan, he will end up writing you something divine. And he always tell people that it's not metaphoric or abstract, but he can do it. I love the layout, the form. I like forms like this, the scattered one, the edgy ones. Your ending. And while we don't always see with level pupils, the love and respect grow stronger every day. That's powerful, right? Love and respect. I love you, brother.
Thank
you, Bella. And Deanne?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, this is truly beautiful, Stephen. I know what the nightmare is. Kay has shared it with me, and yes, I agree to not only survive from such a horrific loss and tragedy, but you've thrived together, and that is just so powerful and such a testimony of what devoted, committed love can do and will do if we just embrace that and not let anything else steal anything more. It's very heart gripping and very well done. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you, Deanne.
Thank you, Deanne.
Hey, Sky.
And yeah.
We're gonna try to let Irish Rosie in again. Hopefully, we don't get the
feedback,
the echo.
Again and again
Okay.
and again and again.
sounds good.
Sounds good. Irish Rosie?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Hi, Rose. How are
Oh.
you?
Hey there.
Is she calling from a satellite phone?
Thank you for calling in, Rose.
Rosie.
Oh, sure. I thought I had missed it. I thought, oh no.
And just in time. Just in time.
It sounds like it.
Irish, she never told us you worked for Space Force.
Say what?
Space Force. You know, the new Air Force program that has to do with military satellites?
Probably not.
You never heard about Space Force?
All right. So
A whole new
No.
initiative on
you
the defense program.
you can messenger that message or that or put it on the board, my friend. Kay, if you could read Ina, and then I'm gonna say my are we going off the air at 10? Yes.
No, I slated the show to go to 10:30, so you're okay.
Okay, so I won't worry about the thank you. So we're going to go. If you want to read Ina, and I don't have to worry about that, that's great. Okay, because we do have. I think we have about 5 more, unless I cut mine off, and then it'll be 4 more. So if you could read Kay, you are Kay. If you could read Ina, just kidding. And if you could make a comment, if you want to make a comment on Stephen before you do so.
Oh, well, yeah, I won't say too much, but I know. We have a lot of our own deep conversations, and we've been having even more lately. So I understand where it comes from, because January has its own moments of pain to it, too, because of the anniversary pertaining to something. So I understand the words very well, but I'll leave it at that. And say that'll do.
That'll do.
Then I will move forward with Ina. Okay, this is by Ina Evans, and this is called Cloaked by the Dagger with Blood. How long have I been here? 30 years, maybe more. Enveloped in darkness, cloaked by the dagger of blood on my hands. Not knowing who all I've cut, or if these crimson stains are mine, I carry a piece of you all with me. Everyone I've ever hurt, and I wonder if I'll ever bleed out. This darkness is dull, the abyss makes promises of false hope. I hold it to that, patiently wait inside my head, convincing myself I hate God. How long have I been here, not knowing I held the key? While I clench my salvation in my hands, I realize I'm a coward. I search for peace where there is none. I search for myself, thinking I'm lost. When did this darkness become a ray of light? Can't remember the warmth when the black burned my eyes. Some people can't be saved. Another lie I tell myself when I'm thinking about hope, when I'm feeling hopeless. I fall to my knees, clenching my salvation in my hands, giving up my cross, knowing it's not mine to bear. This darkness is a curse of the wicked earth, and I lie to myself every day, telling myself that I'm good, when the truth is none of us are good. This darkness is a prison of my own creation. My Father smiles at me from the light. I've tasted the bitter end through a glimpse of hell with my tongue, and the taste brings me to my knees. I've told myself lies about being lost in the pitch black night. I've told myself lies about not having a home. When I hold the key to my salvation, clenched between these blood-stained hands, my peace is my clarity. My home waits on the other side of the horizon. This dark cell can be opened, and the truth is, all I have to do is ask. I am the way, the truth, and the light. Ask, and you shall receive. So I did. The light is intoxicated. End poem.
Excellent piece and read. Thank you, Kay. And what did you think?
Well, I think this is pretty cool because she sheds light on the fact that through the darkness, light can be found, and when you do find it, how beautiful it is. And with other things that she touches base on, this is something that I say often through my words and to anybody who listens, that in our own ways, we all have our own ugliness within us. We have our moments of good, we have our moments of bad. Everybody holds that within them. And if you can acknowledge that and admit it, then it makes you, I feel, a better person to know what exists within you and what you give onto others. I see it as a reflective piece as well, talking about the people that have been hurt and just trying to find some peace. And finally, there is peace being found, as she said in the end, because the light that she found is intoxicating. Awesome, right by Ina.
Thank you, Kay. An excellent comment. I agreed with the ending. I thought it was a wonderful way to end. I really enjoyed her dark tones, and it was and the language was like a spiral that mirrors the intent of the piece. And I wrote in the comment it was like a descending into darkness, but rather not so much of a continued descent, but a reflection on past memories and past guilts, perhaps, and reliving these dark times over and over again by remembering them. And through that, you kind of find the light and you kind of find the way out. And you can not only see that in the messages of the piece and the tones of the piece, but where it brings you out to the end, and that's why I think that end is so important, because it doesn't leave us down in the dirt. It leaves us with that hope, and I really loved that. I carry a piece of you all with me, everyone I've ever hurt, and I wonder if I'll ever bleed out. Those lines just kind of hit in your chest. Wonder, and especially I wonder if I'll ever bleed out. I mean, I think we all can say that we felt that way about something in our lives, wondering if it's ever going to stop. And I just thought this was just an incredible piece and wonderful to the prompt. And I thank you so much for writing one. It was excellent. And Deanne, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yes, thank you. There's so much here. I like her twists and turns through the darkness and the questions she asked, and then she realized, she has revelation that she's the one holding the key. She's the one who put herself there. And yet then she talks about this darkness is a prison of my own creations, but my Father smiles at me from the light. I just love that. So there, like you have all said, there she finds that hope, and it ends in hope. That so I did. This light is intoxicating. I just love that. So, yeah, an excellent, excellent poem, Ina. I really enjoyed it. Beautiful read, too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Deanne. And Stephen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, first off, Sky, you took my stanza. Just want to let you know that.
I did it on purpose.
Yes. I know it.
Stephen and I have got, he says Hatter's his arch nemesis, but I think Stephen and I have this little rivalry, and I'm kind of liking it, Just kidding. He knows I love him. I'm just kidding.
But I definitely agree with what you said, Sky, about that. I carry a piece of you all with me, everyone I've ever heard, and wonder if I ever bleed out. That definitely knocks the wind out of you, because those lines are so relatable. It's sometimes it's difficult to forget times when we may have been responsible, or for hurting somebody, whether it be their feelings or what. Because as soon as Kay read those lines, even my mind was flooded with memories of that kind of thing that happened in the past. It was just amazing how just those 3 lines were able to do that. Almost made my head explode, actually. But this is the end, learning to not dwell on it and moving on, and the possible ray of hope towards the end of this. It's an excellent write. I honestly think it might be one of my favorites that Ina ever wrote. This is just great.
It really is.
Thank you, Stephen. And I forgot Rose came in. Rose, would you like to make the last comment? And then Deanne, you're up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the message that she took from the quote from Nightshade, and she personalized it into her own life, and the way that she reflected through life experience, and not so much with the character, although it does strongly identify with that character, but the journey of life and where we go. And I told her on the comment that I made is that we never know about what light is until we are in the darkest part of our life, and then we recognize it. Then we say, "Oh, that's the light." It's that aha moment of, identifying and grasping something deeper that's spiritual and not logical. So I really enjoyed this. It was a really powerful write, I think.
Thank you, Rose. And great piece, Ina. Thank you again. And Deanne, you are. The mic is yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, I was just listening to you, Sky, what you were saying about the last poem that you liked it ended with hope. Mine's not so much. So will you still like me?
I did. I read yours. I think I wrote you like a paragraph.
You wrote a paragraph.
So I definitely did. I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, anyway, I too related to the quote, "Darkness is a prison of my creation," and I thought of this poem, and I call this "Vacation from Pain." The frenetic cadence clinging reeks with pain, nostrils flaring for an altruistic breath, but find zombies oozing brains, falling from time, clawing to slow the pace, her thoughts castrated to gel in this race, surging towards the astral heights, her efforts slain, diving into crafted darkness, she floats on vacation from pain. End poem.
Someone have the movie rights for the scenes here?
Thank you, Deanne. I thought this was such an incredible piece, an incredibly sad piece, but full of darkness, dark undertones, and I'm going to read what I wrote because I did write you a paragraph, but I thought it lent to the prompt and your writing, your language, but carrying the emotion throughout it, and not just sticking to the words, but really bringing in the story. I thought that you did that wonderfully. I loved the crafted darkness, the diving into crafted darkness, the idea of dark being created and molded, and perhaps, I said perhaps by the hands of others, or perhaps by the hands of the speaker, and you could really, the reader could really take it any way they would like to, and the ending, it made me think of and tied into different tones of the rite. But I thought that vacation was perhaps a drug-induced vacation, perhaps by doctor intervention, and maybe not, maybe personal addiction here. So I thought it spoke of, like I wrote, many avenues where people can take this in very few words, and it speaks so loudly of how people sometimes can cope or have to cope with their demons, and I think that the line that kind of reflects that idea is the zombies oozing brains, that lethargic type of lithium feel. So I thought this was such a powerful piece, and definitely speaks the quote, "A darkness is a prison of my own creation." So really, really well done, and I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sky.
And Rez, can I have the first comment from you?
What's going on in this piece is being overly medicated in the sanitarium is what I received from the thoughts that were there. And that in itself seems to be a kind of crime that we permit upon patients who are left with no other choice but to be locked up for their psychotic disorders. And once you reach the sanitarium, you know, they go all out with the medication, the treatment. You can receive states of being left in a coma by medical doctors, and none of this goes reported. So it's a very sad affair that is not going to be openly discussed in many years by the United States government, what they do to patients at certain facilities in which they've been more or less condemned to a life of nothing else but treatment. And that's a shocking message. Good piece.
Thank you, Raz.
Thank you, Raz. And Ruth?
My turn?
Yes, your turn. I just struggle between Iris, Rose, and Gwen. It's like my brain, like, it's like a volcano, and I don't know what I'm saying.
Well,
sorry.
You can call me Gwen. It's okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, because that would make my life so much easier.
Yeah, just don't say hey you, okay?
I think it's because I knew you before the shows, so my brain is already there.
Right.
Everybody's confusing me.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right.
All right. Okay. Begin poem. Shadows, vapors,
wait. I'm sorry. We're getting comments for Deanne.
Oh.
We're not quite there yet.
Oh. Okay.
Rose.
Whoa. You wanted me to comment, correct?
Yeah, I wanted you to comment on Deanne. Yes. Yes,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, I got confused. So sorry. I think maybe I might have to pass. I'm a little bit confused at this moment.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's probably my fault for calling you 3 different names.
That's okay.
Bella,
can
I get a comment from you, please?
Hey, Bella.
Hi, Deanne. Deanne's voice is very enchanting, but I'm surprised about the picture. She's very scary right there. And the brevity. I'm in love with brevity because it's hard to put all emotions into short stanzas or short lines. And darkness is a prison of my creation. I don't see you as darkness, but we have our own darkness. Ending, Deanne, I love your ending. Searching towards the astral heights, her F-words slain, diving into crafted darkness. She floats on vacation from pain. That one is very intense. And you know, Deanne, when she writes and when she reads, it doesn't hurt. I just love her fully. She can put me to sleep, whatever. Even if it's dark, love, or whatever, she can put me to sleep. I love your voice, Deanne, so much. I'm in love with you.
Thank you, sweetie. Love you.
Thank you, Bella. And Kay?
Hi, Kay.
City Culture. Hello. I do think.
I love that. Sorry.
People say too. Yeah. I do see it as a break from reality. Like, there are many people that we've known in the past that they had a nervous breakdown, and then once you get to that point, it's like nothing else exists in that moment. It's a break from reality. It's a break from sanity. Just pretty much like a break. Yeah. No, you don't.
What's going on there? All right, you two. Steven.
Oh, first off, once again, Sky, the line that I was going to quote, you took, but I'm still going to quote it anyway. The line where you say, "But finds zombies oozing brains." I just thought, to hear you read that, Deanne, with your voice, only you could make zombies oozing brains sound pretty. So,
Thank you. That's good.
But yeah, I thought the imagery was awesome in this, very dark. And like Kay said, I pretty much, I interpret the vacation as just totally losing your mind, so you pretty much don't care anymore. So yeah, this is very, very powerful. And you sum it up really quick in 3 stanzas. It's awesome.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. I think Stephen and I think we like a lot of the same things, and I guess it shows into our poetry too. What we like in our poetry. Thank you, Deanne. Very beautiful piece, and it says a lot about the line. A lot of times people say that they're like, "Oh, that's the one I was going to pick." You know that's a good line when multiple people are just drawn to it. So, that's a compliment in itself. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we have a SoundCloud from Blue, and it's to the prompt. I actually picked, she was like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, this one fits perfect for this. So I love this piece. I thought it should be heard, and I thought it spoke so well to darkness is a prison of my own design. So I put it in.
A whole
so,
epic at that.
Yeah. So whenever Kay's ready.
Okay, before I hit play, I just want to say I let Oak in the room.
Oak.
Hi, Oak.
I can never sneak in, can I? Good evening.
No, because you're too
Hi,
young.
Okay,
sorry.
Winter solstice finds us again here.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
This is called Rambling Smile Unrelenting. Trying to describe this emotion without sounding dramatic. Yes, I have it. It's not everything, more like a background kind of static. Sometimes I just drown myself in these waves of pain, one moment of indulgence before it washes me away. Too good at pretending I'm okay, so when I let myself cry, it just kind of takes over. The voices in my head are laughing at these lines, grabbing on with sharp shrieks in my subconscious, wringing every last drop of sanity from me. Yes, I'm still breathing. Yes, I'm still here. Yes, I still smile and laugh and pretend. But how does that matter when the voices shout and tell me I'll never be loved? How does that matter when they tell me I'll never be free? How does that matter when this painted-on face is hiding nothing but the rotting carcass of someone I used to be? No, there's no knife in my hand, no handful of pills this time. I know I gotta stay here, but dear Lord, sometimes I just wish I could let go. Don't mean to be pessimistic, just trying to be honest while I've got the courage, before another wave of anxiety hits and I'm pulled under. I don't know why I want you to know me, but sometimes I just want to shout this all out. Maybe secrets are not the things that keep me warm, but just another thing that keeps me lonely. Say I'd rather have the pain of cuts and bruises, 'cause it's true, there are no plasters for this deep ache that never loses. Dry heaving and hyperventilating on cold bathroom floor. I know I can breathe, but it still feels like it's impossible to let air go. So many moments just counting the seconds my lungs don't seem to move. Wondering what I did to deserve this, already knowing the answer because I know what I've done and I can't dismiss it. 4 a.m, the voices in my head have no competition. They're telling me my flaws and I don't know how to stop myself listening. Because God knows I'm my worst own critic, and every judgment thrown in my face over years shine clearer. Ignorant, naive, and indecisive. Haven't even reached the worst part yet, and already the voices are delighted. What he's told me more than anything keeps me drowning. Should have left when he spat in my face, but I convinced myself it was my fault and I deserved it. Too scared to try on my own, because I know I'm weak. Can't blame it on him though, because I could have left at any time, and God knows the pain was there long before any of them walked into my life. Whether the chronic hurt or anxiety and panic, it's all pain I've tried to cut out but failed. These thoughts roll down my cheeks in deep trenches, hitting skin with force that create craters. Can't count on one hand the times I've given up, but I'm still too good at pretending. I'm okay, just venting. It gets better, stay strong, I'm trying to see it. It gets better, keep breathing, but the darkness keep pulling me into its pit. It gets better, but the light also scares me, because what if it just breaks me again? What if it burns me and I still turn to dust in the end? What if it's not sunshine, but a spotlight shining on everything that controls me? You don't understand, and that's okay. My empty hellos don't seem to show the chasms of pain underneath. Maybe I'm putting too much weight on 5 little letters, but self-esteem is not a given. Love yourself before loving someone else is a stupid-ass saying, because if I wait for that, all my love will be wasted. I get wrinkled, grow older, but I still feel just as small inside. I still feel the same empty loneliness as the days I tried to die. No, I'm not there now. I still feel it sometimes, but I don't act. I'm just dying to ask for help, but I don't know if anyone could help this. There is no magic solution. There is no word that will end this and bring absolution. There's just fighting and keeping on trying. There's just tomorrow and the next day. And does anyone really have that patience? Really, tell me, would you still be there in a year or in 20? Would you be in my corner, or will it just stay empty? Saying the words is sweet, but it isn't enough. There needs to be emotion and intent if I'm to believe it's not a bluff. I'm not saying it's up to you, because I'm the one aching. I'm the one who needs to get a grip and somehow grow stronger. Take a step in the right direction and hope I do it without drowning. Instead, I just make a mess of these lines and bang my head against the wall. Didn't think it mattered what I say, since I wasn't planning on showing anyone who knows me. But maybe I should just jump in and wait for judgment. Your words can't be worse than the onslaught from the voices. Stand up for myself for 5 shaking minutes, and it's more than I've mastered in the last fucking decade. Maybe I'm moving forward as quick as a glacier, but who has time to stick around to see if it ends with me falling face first? A mess of lines to throw out pain, but none of it matters, because no matter what, I'm still okay. I'm okay, and the world is not ending. I'm okay, and not everything I do is me pretending. It's just a passing emotion. Give me a day and I'll remember how to ignore the erosion. Be back to smiles and laugh, and this will be deleted, because God knows I'm not brave enough to see what happens if I leave it. Not act like you didn't see this. Just keep smiling and let me go back to pretending. The next mood, I'm sure, will be a smile. Unrelenting.
Love that piece. I'm going to start with
wow.
Rose.
Wow. That was extremely deep. And, I could feel the voice of help crying out through all that, but yet the other part of ourselves that wants to stay in control, and it's the denial part that says, I got this and everything's going to be okay, and that's that preservation aspect that we need to balance out that other crazy part that wants to take over some of us. And I just really felt if it was the prompt that you fit it with was probably very accurate, and I could feel the vacillation back and forth, and it was quite heavy, and wow. I don't know what else to say about it other than it was raw truth, and I can accept it at that. So it was a good job.
Thank you, Rose. And Deanne?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is a great comment, Rose. Wow. I pretty much agree with you as well. It's an epic write. I love her title, Rambling, Smile, Unrelenting, because that's how I feel this is, and how often do we go through this ourselves. But yeah, I like the oscillating as well. And just a very intense write that I believe each of us can crawl into and say, I feel this, I can relate. I always love hearing her read it too. So yeah, it's an excellent, epic pen. So yes, well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanne. And Kay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of hearing this before as well. So it's cool she shared this with me because it is one that I feel many people can relate to because it definitely has a lot of depth emotionally. You know, it's like a cover in my comic I left here that I've been to there in the past. But to be able to move past that and these words with everybody, it helps one to make them feel like they're not alone when other people share their experiences like this. Because I thought this was a hell of a read that she gave, and an awesome write. But, you know, it's like I told her, too, that what was meant to try to destroy one, her words show that he fought back and won. That's how I feel.
Thank you, Kay. And you know, I thought I've heard that a couple times. I heard it the first time through SoundCloud because I do follow her on SoundCloud, and you know, I've told her many times that was just, I think it's one of the most and it's such an incredible write. It's so raw and it's so hard. I think it's brave and hard to put yourself out there like that. To not only be able to write that and be able to be honest with yourself, but also put that out for others to read. And it's good that people do, because I think it's something a lot of people struggle with, and it leaves you with that feeling. If you are struggling with it, you're not alone. Those people that are brave enough to stand up and say, these are all the things that I'm going through, and this is how I'm going to reflect on my mind and my past actions and these motions and trying to get things together by writing it down and gathering our thoughts. I thought it was just such an incredibly raw write and very, very well read. Thank you, Lou, for letting me play that one. And so, Bella, if you want to make the last comment, your piece is on the board.
Yeah, I was listening the whole time, and sometimes I have this problem focusing when reading long ones. But this one made me sit down and it's just like she was talking to me in front of me, telling me a story. And part 4 in the morning, the voices in my head have no competition. I wrote her, can I read it for her? So I said she inked not only her heart, but also the gut of her soul, because it's hard to do that. It's not easy to serve what we have in the silver platter, yet she managed to give what she has inside, and that is the divine part about writing poetry. When you ink your heart out and put your soul in it and make people feel you from the depth of you, then that's beautiful. And she gave that to him, you know. Mad respect for this writing.
Thank you, Bella. And you're all set to reach peace.
I'm sorry, Sky, for not having a new one, but I'm gonna give you a new one more. So this one, thank you very much, Stefan and Kay, for helping me find a quote, and the quote is odd. How even in the face of tragedy, there are also such wonders, such miracles to be found. So this is, I am the goddess. I had a dream. No, I was the dream, captured, then encaged in a glass-like sarcophagus, hostage like of a dove. Imagine, close your eyes, barefooted, naked, and shackled by the solemn rites. Inside its stained Paris, he carefully created, filled with thorny wires, rusted verses, and putrefied air. Each time I moved, the flake of my being gave open, bleeding profusely from puncture that mundane. hanged upside down, draining my all till flesh turns etiolated, numb. So I stayed imprisoned, like a puppet, like a mob memento, ready to be viewed but not to be adored, until I learned the value of I, the meaning of me. Years of suffering ended in a blink of an eye. Illumination came. Where? My voice became the thunder, and my rejection became the mallet, crashed the glass coffer, liberating my being. I learned the hard way, made me earn my badge as a fucking goddess now. For those who will offer me the world, the stars, the moon, or the fucking sun, when I offer me your knees, wrap it with your pride, dose it with your ego, then present your all like an offering to your goddess. And to and sorry.
Wow. So I've read this one before, and it's a pleasure to reading it again. And I think it does absolutely fit the prompt. And my comments on your rights are often like, I just copy and paste like this part, and then I'm just like, wow, awesome, Sky, because it's so terrible. But it's just because I'm just like, it's just when you get taken aback, and I'm just like, like, what do you say? I thought this was very powerful, very emotive, like all your rights. I love how you open, I had a dream. No, I was the dream, captured and encaged in a glass, like a sarcophagus. There were so many dark images and dark undertones, but you bleed right through that. You set the scene, you set all that darkness, and then you get that empowerment. And that's what I really like about the piece, that, because empowerment is nothing unless you know what what befell before it. You can come out and be powerful and say, yes, I am me, and this is, and hear me roar. But I think it has a lot more weight if you kind of show those other tones, those shades of background, and say, this is what it took me to get here, and I am here, and I'm going to voice, me in a powerful way and in a proud way. So I thought this was just an incredible piece, and I do think it spoke to the Croat so well. And thank you for bringing this one, Bella.
Thank you, Sky. Do you love me now, Sky?
I don't mind. You didn't write me something new, okay? I love it. I do it to Stephen and Kay all the time. There's just too much. Sometimes there's just too much. But I appreciate you bringing it and coming and commenting, Amelia. And,
I asked you, do you love me now?
You love her. I loved you before, Bella. She just likes to be told I love you all the time. Okay, what did you think?
Well, I put my comment in the room, didn't I? She don't ask for much, does she?
No.
No, it's right there on the sleeve or on the floor. And definitely the whole Act 1 and Act 2, build to the peril and to the victorious overcoming, and then the 3 is the coming out and the presentation and presenting strong, and then having crystal clear demands. Offer to me on your knees, wrap it with your pride, douse it with your ego, present your all like an offering. Okay, there you have it. So now at least we know what the requirements are, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Thank you. Okay, and Raz?
I am.
Well, hold on. Before we get
wait. Go ahead, Kate. Wait, one more. What, Kate? Do you want me to say my thank you?
Well, anybody who's listening, the studio will close them out from listening further. So if you want to do your acknowledgments, you should do that now.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to Stephen, Kay, Raz, Sweet, JCA, Deb, Boo, Bella, Deanne, Oak, Stephen. I said that already. I'm sorry. Stephen, you get thanked twice. Joseph Moon, Heavenly Angel, who was on the board, Guilty, Lady A, Ina, Irish, Blue. There was a lot of you guys tonight. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate your support. Wow. There was a lot. It was packed today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you.
For a genius.
Thank you.
I love you.
Where are we? Raz, you want to take over the comment for Bella?
Yeah, this shows everything about what women have now achieved in under 50 years, especially in the United States, that they're more liberated, independent, and don't have to take it from a man in order to survive in this world. And that's the beauty of I Am Goddess by this writer, Bella.
Thank you very much, Raz.
Thank you, Raz. And I'm gonna get one from Stephen, and then Rosie, you're up.
Okay.
Well, yeah, this is first off an excellent read, sister. You always read them so well, and you keep it so serious and so powerful, and then you end it with that empathy that always just makes me smile. But yeah, this is awesome. I know what it's about, but I'll just say it speaks to me of finding your inner strength, setting yourself free from a less than desirable relationship. Excellent writing.
Well, thank you very much, brother, and you know me well. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Stephen. And Rosie, if you want to make the last comment, and then your poem is right up in the room.
Okay, good. Yeah, I am woman. Hear me roar, right? I put on my comment is the price of admission is always, going to be high, and I don't know how that works for us women, but it just seems to work that way, and kudos to you on your right. Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Rose.
And the mic is yours, Rose. As soon as you're ready.
Okay.
You're already dropped.
Okay, I'm ready. All right. Begin poem. Shadows, vaporous sea. Quote, darkness is a prison of my creation. Into dark depths anguished I descend among spirit walkers and shadow talkers that breed in the pit. Children of demonic dreams are slowly infused into the human bloodstream neath camouflaged skin where an incubus breeds. In shadows half-toned veils now rise between the betweens where watchers abide. Through draconian scenes rancor defies dark demons that flee the glare in my eyes. Running away for their lives, lest the veils of Gehenna be rent, cast demonic hordes into the pit, journey across the last bridge. Come walk with me through my shadows' vaporous seams, into the depths of shadows' dreams. In poem.
Oh, excellent. I didn't get to read this one too, so this one I like small surprises. So I know that now, do you know the comics at all? I know you said your husband does something with comics, yes?
What?
You are the one who said something. Your husband does something with comics?
No, I don't have a husband. I'm the one who does the stuff with comics.
Okay. Oh, you are.
That's okay.
I knew. Okay. I'm like, I can't remember. I remember something. So you are. So do you know this comic? Well, because
yeah, I'm familiar.
You've got a good handle. You are. Okay. So you've got a good handle on the storyline. I love that you put the incubus in there, and as they, through my description too. If anybody didn't really know the comic books, I put a brief description of what the incubus it was and how they killed our family. So I love that you intertwined the comic so deeply into this. Children of demonic dreams are slowly infused into human bloodstream, neath camouflage skin. This is incredible, and it speaks so true to the character and to the comic. Such a epic write, and I thought it was and then you even go down to the journey across the last verse. Come walk to me through my shadows, vaporous seams. I'm actually just going to repeat the whole thing, so I'm going to stop there because Stephen's going to yell at me at some point for stealing some kind of line. But I thought this was just incredible in story writing, and I'm so very impressed that you're so on point on the prompts, and I find that when you don't know it, you look it up, and when you do know it, you definitely know it. So this is very impressive to me that you went through there, and I love the character that you picked up. I think it's interesting. A lot of people went for the DC version of her instead of the Marvel version, but they're both brilliant. But I think it was interesting. Most people did. Maybe it was a quote. I'm not sure, but really, really well done. Nobody wanted to write about werewolves, but I thought this was. I thought this was just wonderfully creative and clever and great story writing. Really well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna go to Raz first. You get the comment last time, so we'll go right to Raz. Yep.
What can I say? What you're describing here happens to be shadowscapes, nightmares. What lingers on, night terrors even. What you have a state of mind that you can perceive shadows take on form or life, then you're bordering upon the edge of facing the literal paranormal, or in a state of mind that you're pondering upon the afterlife, and it's not really one of the brightest part of one's death, but the netherworld. So all of that is very graphically and loosely explained within the descriptive terms of the verse. And if read right, one could in fact see, like the quote says, the actual darkness. Good right, Mrs. Irish Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Stephen.
Yeah. Yes. Into the dark depths, anguished I descend among spirit walkers and shadow talkers that breed in the pit. I really love the dark imagery that you put in this. It's really cool, and I like that you wove the character's backstory throughout it. This is really well done. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. And Kay?
Well, I have to agree. I thought in your comments where you got so enthusiastic about it. I thought this was a cool right because you and Deb tonight, you kind of got your own backstory to the character, which I think is pretty cool because a lot of us, when we come into contests like these, we don't quite know so much about the character. So I think it's cool when somebody can come and they can bring the storytelling aspect of the character and bring their own story and life to it. And I have to agree with Steve on the dark imagery is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. And Bella?
Yeah. This is dark, but this part I love. And beautiful reading too, by the way.
Thank you.
Let the veils of Gehenna be rent. When that word, the single one, took me. I remember, I read the one in the Bible. It says that the Gehenna is Jerusalem, the part where
No.
it was at the part of Jerusalem where dead people are living, and it's simple translated into hell. So that one, if you are going to really see that in a way in the writing in the Bible, but I don't know if I am correct. But I love the dark stuff, and like I said, I'm not usually a dark poet like this dark because I can't put myself in it. But when I read one, I envy them in a very good manner because I want to have that. I do dark emotions, but this kind of sassy, scary, haunting dark is different. I love it, Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. So in comic, you gotta go out and geek out in comic book terms, which it's actually it's in the headquarters of Hydra. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when she's speaking of that place, it is interesting how you can relate it to other places, Bella, too. But it's actually an ancient headquarters of Hydra. So it's comics have their own worlds. They have everybody all over the place. You could say something about it. You can say something about it if you want, Rose. Yeah.
Yeah. Gehenna is also a term for hell. So.
Oh. Double all these meanings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
It's kind of interesting to see if comics pull these names and pull these places as symbolizing places too, and previous names that were previously held. So it's really interesting.
The writers.
Yeah, they are writers. Thank you, Rose, for bringing this. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And we've got one last one for the end of the night. So if you guys can just stick around just for one more. And Oak, if you want to make the last comment, you're up.
Sure. I appreciate, Rose, how you channeled Darkshade in this, becoming the character, if you will, for this rite. I was doing laundry earlier and just reading some of the poems. I wasn't it didn't phone in, and it looked like a lot of folks were writing some terrific stuff that was just hinged on the quotes and just took a different direction from personal experience, which I guess my poem does in a roundabout way too. And I haven't followed comics for many years, so I'm not familiar with this character. I did way back, dating myself, in the 70s and 80s. I actually owned some of the earliest Tales of Suspense where Iron Man was debuted, and the first 100 or so Iron Man. I was a big fan of that. Had the first couple of 100 X-Men. Was a big fan of that. Man, I don't even want to think what those are worth today because I sold them all when I was in college to try to pay for tuition. But appreciate the old mythos. And so, without further ado, the piece that I dropped in, I felt like, if anything, perhaps, did hinge on the quote, "Darkness is a prison of my own creation," if you will. And this one includes a graphic of Thor, which some of you may recognize. And I related to this picture so well a year ago because my role where I make a living is heavy, and I am leaned on and looked to every year to do impossible things with a small operation, and it's intense and it's stressful. And so I wrote Command Performance. Set up for failure once again by those to whom I am beholden, unknowingly, fecklessly confident in my gushing faux charisma, in faltering, tenuous leadership, which forged former victories, presumptive of new visitations by specters of conquests past, now strung around my shoulders as a laurel mantle, such that is merely so many millstones of untenable crushing weight. So bid I daily the will of present fate's determination to toil without falter on a path of trepidation, clutching tight both hope and fear of such reasonable, beleaguered self-doubt, choking to suffocation. In poem.
I'm definitely related to the piece, so I'm going to see if my comments were last. Can I start with Rosie?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was a really good pairing of Thor to your right here. Really very descriptive of that weight of struggle of responsibility, and I really enjoyed how you you opened up and let things become a little bit more visible in your right here. So I really enjoyed it. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. And Raz?
Yeah, this shows the strength of the hero, or even in some point looking at the sideline, the author's note, of which tiles are actually 30% more performance-oriented goals rather than 20%. The Department of Labor in handling large amount of weight and still physically overcoming those kinds of physical challenges through their own course of will in order to build and construct the very fundamentals of our society.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raz. And Bella?
I remember this. And I kind of remember the story behind this right. And I will not share the story because they can decipher. But this is the moment that I can tell myself that I was grateful to see that part of you, and you allowed me to touch it, and without being scared of what's going to happen. But I still look up to you differently, and you know that despite this one. Love it. Love how you wrote it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bella. And Stephen?
Well, yeah, I definitely thought that this piece was very relatable. I just left you a comment. Both guys said that first stanza made me think of when I used to be the boss. You know, I just pretty much faked my way through it all. But this is there's a lot of that.
Yep.
Thank you, Stephen. I thought this was such a great piece, and definitely befitting to the prompt. And you know, I love that it was in fact a comic book character, even better. I love the word feckless. I am in love with it. It's one of my, I love that word. You know, I thought this was such a great piece, and there were so many. I like how you tied reality into nonfiction. You took this nonfictional scenario and you kind of tied it in, and you know, you kind of explained it at the beginning with work, and you know. Towards the end, I think it really came in for me with the, you know, so bid I daily the will of present fate's determination to toil without falter. I think when burdens are put upon us, you know, sometimes there is a lot. It's a lot of stress. I mean, guys ever have stress dreams about work? I do. You know?
Yeah.
You can't really escape it.
Like millstones.
Yeah. Like yeah, you have like PTS dreams about work, and you you know, it comes in, and some people say, well, leave work at work. And sometimes it's so hard. It's folded in so many areas of our lives, and especially when pressures are put upon us, and when people lean on us, and you know, even when we leave work, if people have to call to ask us for things, because you know, you are someone that needs to be called to be asked things, and so I love the journey in a very short time period that you bring us through with, you know, the you know, the mindset of this is what the feckless confidence, you know, and then and brushed by charisma, because I think charisma can go very far in life as well. You know, even if some people don't really know what they're doing, if they're really charismatic, they can get pretty far. I mean,
it helps. It helps.
It helps a little bit. So I really did. I think eventually, you know, there has to be some foundation there, but charisma can take you pretty far. So I really appreciated this, right, and the tones and the messages of it. And I'm going to get my my last comment of the night, because I don't like to be the last commenter, from Kay, and then that's the one.
Well, yeah, I liked how your first stanza it opened. You talk about set up for failure once again by those to whom I am beholden. Well, many of us can relate to those lines right there.
Oh yeah.
Because I could say that too about moments in my life. Set up once again for failure. And I know that you said that you could definitely say that about work. But you know, all around, this definitely speaks I feel to the quote very well. The title Self-Command Performance. I do see it as, you know, how you're seen by your peers and how, you know, failure, how people let you down, how aspects of life let you down. It's just cool all around.
Yeah.
It says a lot. It really does.
And if I may interject, talking about stress dreams about work.
Yeah.
When I used to be a boss at Home Depot, I was licensed to run the tow equipment, and my alarm clock sounded just like the klaxon on the reach truck. So every morning I was screaming that I was on the reach truck, getting bales of lumber down.
Well, I want to thank you again for all showing up and geeking out with me. And I just want to let you know before that we do a couple more announcements on what shows are coming up. I do want to let you know that Storyboards with S. Darkholme will be once a month instead of twice a month. I will be alternating themes. So once a month will be Storyboards with S. Darkholme. We'll be sticking with characters. I've got a lot of ideas. So I don't know where we're going because I'm going to have to pick one off the cuff because I've got a lot of them. And then the second one is going to be, I'm going to bring in, as probably many of you guys see, my shutter button poetry. I take a lot of pictures and I run a lot of, I've run 247 of them as of today of pictures that I've taken and that I share with AP, and then I get rights for them. So every other show is going to be any right to any of my picture contests. So if you have ever written to any of them, you can bring those rights. So that's going to be kind of like a free-for-all. It's not going to be a contest specifically. It's just going to be bring your rights that you wrote for me. And it's going to be shutter button poetry with S Darkholme. So that's going to be that. So if we have any announcements you want to make for the next upcoming shows, Kay or Stephen?
She's going to leave that up to me. Tuesday is the Mortuary of Shadows, and we have 24 quotes. 26 quotes from season 2 of American Horror Story. 26 great quotes.
Awesome.
So
Hell yeah.
check that one out. And then Wednesday, Poetic Inklings, we are going with last words of famous people as the prompts. And some of those are pretty profound, while others are very comical as well. So let's check that one out. And Thursday, Yep. Thursday, Movement of Sound is Nirvana.
Yeah, music on your phone.
So you can write to your favorite Nirvana song. And then next Saturday, we're doing something a little different.
As long as it smells like Teen Spirit. No, I'm just kidding.
Next Saturday, we're doing something a little different. We are going to do something fun. Terrible pickup lines.
Oh, we found some doozies.
We found some doozies.
I can't wait to get that going.
I'm kind of excited for that cheesy. I'm already thinking about some things.
Oh my God. I'm not sure.
I'm like sitting here quiet because my mind's already weaving through the satires that could happen. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so I think the worst one I heard was. I think the worst one I heard is, I heard you need a stud. Well, I have an STD. All I need is you.
Ooh, it's so bad.
Oh my gosh, I can't even. But when I think of pickup lines, I just think of Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, your legs must be tired because you've been walking through my mind all day, or your feet must be tired. You know, Fresh Prince. I just think of Will Smith. That's what I think about when I think about pickup lines. Is that one scene?
Well, what's your sign?
What?
There you go.
What's your sign?
Yeah, that's another one. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be fun. It's gonna bring out some real laughs. It'll recover from the dark tones that we had today. So I really appreciate all your rights. I really enjoyed them. I love that you guys love to geek out with me. And Rose, I'm going to be making you draw some pictures for me, and just throw that in there.
Okay, cool.
If anybody, you should really go see her work. It's beautiful. She draws. Just go stalk her. But thank you all, and and thank you all. I've had a fun night again.
Okay, cool.
I think end show.
All right.
I think.
Yep, end show.
Good job.
I don't know, Sky. Do you want a
Rose.
song or no?
Yeah. I really like that song. I really do like it. It's really nice.
Yeah, so I guess
Okay.
we'll play it.
All right, I'm going to play this out.
Okay, there we go.
Feeling the lumps inside you, and the black and eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew, restless every time we start locking eyes. Love control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the breathe in and let me go. Link to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the light, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Love control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
That's all.
Jamming
Alrighty.
out to that. Thank you guys.
Again
you,
and
guys.
again and again and again and again and again.
That was crazy. I thought for a minute Stephen was rapping, and I was a little. I'm just kidding, Stephen. All right.
Maybe at Christmas.
Happy Martin Luther
right.
King Day. Remember, he had a dream. You should too.
Yeah,
Good night,
All right,
America.
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, hang up.